In the year 79, an entire city vanished in a single night. Thousands of people were frozen in time, their final moments preserved for eternity. What happened in Pompeii was not just a disaster. It was a message from the heavens that still echoes across the centuries. Stay with me until the end, because what you are about to hear will change the way you see life itself. Our story begins in a land blessed with beauty beyond imagination. Pompeii was one of the most glorious cities of the ancient Roman world. It stood at the foot of a mighty mountain called Vesuvius. The people believed this mountain was a guardian, a silent protector, watching over their paradise. The streets of Pompeii were filled with laughter and music. Merchants sold exotic goods from distant lands. Artists painted magnificent murals on the walls of grand houses. The wealthy displayed their riches without shame. Fountains flowed with crystal-clear water. Gardens bloomed with flowers of every color. To the people of Pompeii, life was a never-ending celebration. But they had forgotten something important. They had forgotten that nothing in this world lasts forever. They had forgotten that every blessing comes with a responsibility. They had forgotten that the mountain watching over them was not sleeping. It was waiting. For centuries, Vesuvius had remained silent. Generations were born and died without ever seeing it stir. The people built their homes closer and closer to its slopes. They planted vineyards on its fertile soil. They carved roads into its sides. They had no idea they were living on borrowed time. The signs began appearing months before the disaster. Small earthquakes shook the ground. Wells dried up mysteriously. Animals behaved strangely, fleeing to higher ground. Birds disappeared from the skies. But the people of Pompeii ignored these warnings. They told themselves it was nothing. They convinced themselves that the gods would never harm such a magnificent city. They continued their feasts. They continued their celebrations. They continued living as if tomorrow was guaranteed. This is where the real mystery begins. On the morning of August 24th, the sky above Vesuvius began to change. A thin column of smoke rose from the peak. Most people barely noticed. Some pointed and laughed, thinking it was merely a cloud. By noon, the column had grown into a massive tower of ash and fire reaching miles into the heavens. The sun began to dim. A strange darkness crept across the land. And still, many refused to leave. The mountain that had been silent for 800 years was finally speaking, and its voice was terrible beyond imagination. The first wave of destruction came from the sky. Pumice stones, some as large as a human fist, rained down upon the city. They crashed through rooftops. They buried the streets. Within hours, several feet of debris covered everything. People scrambled to find shelter. Some hid in their homes, believing the walls would protect them. Others tried to flee, but found the roads blocked by fallen stones and panicking crowds. The air grew thick with ash. Breathing became painful, then nearly impossible. Darkness swallowed the city completely. Day became night, and then came something far worse. In the early hours of August 25th, the eruption entered its deadliest phase. The massive column of ash collapsed under its own weight. A wave of superheated gas and rock, traveling faster than any human could run, swept down the mountain. This deadly cloud is what scientists today call a pyroclastic surge. Its temperature reached over 700 degrees. It moved at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour. Nothing could escape it. When this burning wave reached Pompeii, Every living thing died instantly. There was no time to scream, no time to pray, no time to say goodbye. In a single moment, approximately 20,000 souls were taken. The city that had celebrated life so loudly was now silent forever. But here is where the story becomes truly haunting. The ash and debris that buried Pompeii did not simply destroy. It preserved. The volcanic material hardened around the bodies of the victims, creating perfect molds of their final moments. When archaeologists began excavating the site centuries later, they discovered something that would shake the world. By pouring plaster into these hollow molds, they revealed the exact positions of the dead at the moment of their passing. What they found was both heartbreaking and deeply moving. A mother was discovered holding her child close to her chest, trying to shield the little one from the falling ash. Her arms were wrapped tight, a final embrace that would last for 2,000 years. A man was found reaching out toward a woman, their fingers almost touching. Perhaps they were lovers separated in the chaos, trying desperately to find each other one last time. A dog was discovered still chained to its post, twisted in agony, abandoned by those it had faithfully served. Groups of people were found huddled together in corners, strangers united by fear, holding on to each other as the darkness closed in. These plaster casts are not just archaeological artifacts. They are frozen prayers. They are silent witnesses to the fragility of human existence. When you look into their faces, you see yourself. You see everyone you love. You see the truth that we all try so hard to forget. We are all visitors in this world. But the mysteries of Pompeii do not end with the bodies. When researchers explored the buried city, they found something unexpected. Many of the victims were discovered with their most precious possessions: gold coins, jewelry, keys to their homes. Even in their final moments, they could not let go of their material wealth. They clutched their treasures as death approached, not understanding that none of it could save them. One wealthy man was found with a bag containing enough gold to live like a king for years. Yet all that gold could not buy him one more breath of air. This is perhaps the greatest lesson Pompeii offers to our modern world. We spend our lives accumulating things we cannot keep. We sacrifice our peace for possessions that will one day turn to dust. We forget that the only wealth we truly own is the love we share and the good we do for others. The people of Pompeii had everything the world could offer. They had wealth, they had pleasure, they had power. But in the end, none of it mattered. There is another mystery that has puzzled researchers for decades. Not everyone in Pompeii died. Some managed to escape before the final destruction. They were the ones who heeded the early warnings. They were the ones who did not wait until it was too late. Historical records tell us that when the mountain first began to smoke, a few wise individuals gathered their families and left immediately. They did not stop to collect their valuables. They did not wait to see what would happen. They simply trusted their instincts and fled. These survivors later told stories of what they witnessed from the safety of distant hills. They described watching their city disappear beneath a wave of fire and darkness. They spoke of the terrible sounds, like thunder, that never stopped rolling. Their testimonies remind us that warnings come to those who are willing to listen. Signs appear to those who are willing to see. But we must have the wisdom to act before the door of opportunity closes. For 17 centuries, Pompeii lay forgotten beneath the earth. The world above continued turning. Empires rose and fell. New cities were built on ancient ruins. The very name of Pompeii faded from memory. Then, in the year 1748, workers digging a well made an astonishing discovery. They found the remains of buildings buried deep underground. Further excavation revealed streets, homes, temples, and theaters perfectly preserved. It was as if a time capsule from the ancient world had suddenly been opened. The rediscovery of Pompeii shocked and fascinated the entire world. Here was a complete Roman city, frozen at the exact moment of its destruction. Every detail of daily life had been preserved by the very disaster that ended it. Loaves of bread were found still sitting in ovens. Meals remained on tables, prepared but never eaten. Political messages were still painted on walls, advertising candidates for elections that would never be held. Pompeii became a window into the past, unlike any other. But more than that, it became a mirror reflecting truths about our own lives. Today, millions of visitors walk the ancient streets of Pompeii every year. They touch the same stones that Roman feet once touched. They stand in the shadow of Vesuvius, the same mountain that brought such devastation. And many of them report feeling something unexplainable, a sense of sadness, a feeling of connection to those who lived and died here so long ago. A sudden awareness of how precious and fragile life truly is. Some say the spirits of Pompeii still linger, not as ghosts to be feared, but as teachers offering wisdom to those willing to receive it. Their message is simple but profound. Do not waste your days chasing shadows. Do not harden your heart against those who need your kindness. Do not assume that tomorrow is promised to anyone. Live with gratitude. Love with sincerity. Remember your Creator in times of ease, so He may remember you in times of difficulty. The story of Pompeii is not just a tragedy from the distant past. It is a reminder that we all walk beneath our own mountains. We all face moments when everything we have built can be tested in an instant. The question is not whether challenges will come. The question is whether we will be ready when they arrive. As we reach the end of this journey, let us pause and reflect. The same God who commanded the mountain to erupt is the same God who preserves the stories of the past, so we may learn from them. The same Creator who holds the power of destruction also holds infinite mercy and love. In the Holy Quran, we are reminded that Allah does not change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves. The people of Pompeii had been given countless blessings, but they forgot to be grateful. They forgot to be humble. They forgot that all power belongs to the one who created the heavens and the earth. Let their story soften our hearts. Let their fate remind us to seek forgiveness while we still can. Let their frozen prayers inspire us to live each day as if it might be our last. For truly, in the remembrance of Allah, do hearts find peace. Vesuvius still stands today, watching over the ruins of the city it once destroyed. Scientists say it will erupt again one day. Millions of people now live in its shadow, just as the people of Pompeii once did. The mountain has not changed. The only question is whether we have learned the lessons it tried to teach us 2,000 years ago. May we be among those who listen. May we be among those who learn. May we be among those who are guided to the straight path before our own time runs out. And may the peace and mercy of the Most High be upon you, today and always.